Good evening YouTube, this is Brave Counsel and welcome to tonight's quick crypto briefing. If you enjoy this video, please like, share and subscribe. But with that being said, let's get straight into the main topic this evening. So what we're going to be talking about tonight, guys, is how much XRP should I own? I was inspired to make this video by a gentleman by the name of Vincent Wilson. Vincent Wilson, for those of you who know, will know that throughout 2018 he was omnipresent in the XRP space. He was literally in the comments of every single video. For those of you who are new to the space, Vincent Wilson was either a person or a bot who used to post 20k XRP will be life changing. There was no context to it whatsoever, it was just a statement of fact. Now of course it's somewhat more complex than that, and tonight we're going to cover my view on what XRP is and where the space is heading, and also how it will affect the individual investor in XRP. But before we do that, I just want to re-energize the XRP community out there. We're beginning a bit of a range for the last couple of weeks, staying in that 40 to 42 cent range. So let's just take a couple of articles here to really re-energize you before we get going into the main topic. So first of all then, Ripple kicks off South America expansion with Brazil launch. So, of course, this is the news that Ripple will be opening an office in Brazil, and that opens the door to the rest of South America. Of course, Ripple is active throughout the world now in multiple locations, and of course the business is growing and growing and growing. XRP, as soon as the switch is flipped between the Xcurrent service and moving into XRP production via the XRapid service, I think we're going to see some real growth in the price of XRP. Secondly, guys, for the new to the XRP community, of course, XRP outperforms its competition by a country mile, guys. So it's fast. We can see here average speeds, transaction times of 4 seconds. That compares to traditional systems like Swift sometimes taking 3 to 5 days, Bitcoin over an hour, Ethereum 2 minutes. XRP knocks them out of the park, guys. Secondly, it's very scalable. So we talk about transactions per second. Bitcoin 3 to 6, Ethereum 15 transactions per second, XRP coming in at a massive 1,500 transactions per scale. And basically, guys, all these companies, all these cryptocurrencies, to be fair, are all working on scaling that up. But XRP is by far the largest and quickest. And then finally, guys, distributed. Yes, distributed ledger technology is now around the world. Ripple, the company, has offices throughout the world, everywhere from Europe, the United States, out the Far East, Australasia, and now, of course, in Brazil. So it's definitely going in the right direction. And finally, one Heiko Maas, who's a EU German foreign minister, he actually commented more recently, this is a bit of macro politics for you here, guys, that Germany in the EU wants to free itself from the dependence on the SWIFT system, which of course is well known to be controlled by the US state, and it's used against various countries in order to manipulate the supply of transfers around the world. And the EU are looking for an alternative to this system. Well, while they haven't said XRP is the solution, let's be honest, XRP could very well be the solution to a SWIFT replacement. So let's see where that goes. So moving back to Ripple, how much do you need to own? Well, of course, it comes down to the individual, and I'll explain what I mean in 3 simple concepts. But before we do the 3 simple concepts, guys, I just want to show you the rich list stats at the moment. So if you don't know, XRP stats is a site that you can do. Just Google XRP rich list stats and it will bring up the entirety of the XRP and how that's broken down into the amount of accounts, and as far as existing XRP is concerned, as far as the amount of XRP in escrow, and of course by a percentage as well. So what I wanted to show you on this today, guys, was effectively I've highlighted here where I think the majority of listeners to this video will be. So down at the bottom then we have 1,000 to 4,999, so 4,999 XRP, and at the top of what I think generally would be listening to this podcast, although I'm sure there are people above and below listening to it as well, is between 50 and 75,000 XRP. Now the first principle I want to bring up is where you decide to own and how many you decide to own is completely on your personal circumstances. A man or a woman buying in the United States just by proxy of their average yearly wage, of course, is going to be potentially in the higher range here, so maybe somewhere in the 50 to 74,000 range. Someone in a less well-off country where the average wage is a lot smaller might be somewhere down near the lower end, your 1,000 to 4,999 range. And neither of those things are wrong. And again, I'll explain to you what I mean as the video goes on. But just get it into your head that the overall amount is not the answer. It might be part of the answer, depending on your overall goals, but it's not the answer, guys. So the more you follow XRP videos and the cryptocurrency space at large, you will notice, I thought this image portrayed it quite well, a web around XRP. A web of creators, developers, interested spaces, institutions and individuals. And the more you study XRP, the more you will start to understand your place in it in terms of how much you own and how much you might want to own in future. And of course, when the right time for you to sell is. So 3 basic principles, guys. Buy the fear, sell the greed. Well, of course, this is a well-known phrase from the stock market, but it's equally applicable to the cryptocurrency space. 2017 saw a massive run up in price, 2018 a massive crash in price, and now of course we are somewhere on the feed greed cycle. People dispute exactly where. So for those of you who haven't seen this before, it's the cycle of market emotions, and of course this is particularly relevant to the cryptocurrency space. And what we see here, it starts on the left hand side with optimism. That might be a new product into the market, and then going up, which we could almost see was 2017, the excitement, the thrill, the euphoria. But then of course the price had increased to such a degree that anxiety started to kick in. Denial, fear, desperation, panic, capitulation, so all the way back down again, guys. And this of course is because there were plenty of people who got in early and made an absolute killing in XRP. And of course we came right down, and now we get to where we are in 2019. People dispute this. You have the 4 bottom elements here of capitulation, despondency, depression and hope, and of course then relief and optimism. If you want my view on where we are in the process at the moment, I think the first few months of 2019 have seen us come from a point of depression, so a low point almost, and I think we are somewhere at the moment between hope and relief. I'll explain what I mean by that. Basically, the hope came back in when the price flatlined for a number of months and the volume lowered and a lot of the weak hands got shook out of the market. Then of course we had news that a lot of over-the-counter buying was going on, so people still investing into XRP, and of course Ripple every single week seemingly coming out with a new deal or a new partnership. So that's your hope phase. And then of course, and admittedly driven by Bitcoin going up again, we're in the relief phase at the moment, in my opinion. The reason I say that is because the market in general has stopped tanking. We've gone up. XRP, strangely, is one of the coins that has gone up the least. It's still gone up by a good 40% over the last 6 months, but compared to a coin such as a Litecoin which has gone up nearly 450%, I believe, or a Bitcoin even, which has gone up nearly 200%. XRP's got a lot of room to grow, guys. I think we're somewhere between hope and relief at the moment, and this leads me right into the point of saying we're on the up now, in my opinion, guys. We really are on the up. But I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Do not take anything I say in this video as an indication to buy. It is down to your personal circumstances and view of the market. So moving on then, guys. A quote, of course, from the great Muhammad Ali: "Don't count the days, make the days count." For those of you that don't know, I'm a big boxing fan. I always been fascinated by the appeal of two men training to the point of exhaustion, making themselves the best they can be, and then fighting it out and seeing who wins at the end. And the reason I want to relate this to XRP and how much you should buy is because the circumstances surrounding yourself determine how much you should buy. The market cycle depends how much you should buy and when you should sell. But equally, it's down to you guys ultimately how much research and effort you're willing to put into this market to understand what's going on here. There will be plenty of people, to put it in boxing terms, that never make it past the amateurs. They will buy at the wrong time, they will sell at the wrong time, they will take no account of the market cycle, they will take no account of the fear and greed cycle, they won't even put any research into the coin that they profess to love. Someone like Muhammad Ali put his entire life into becoming the best, and I think it's a particularly apt place to leave this video to say, how much XRP should you own? Well, of course, your own personal circumstances matter. Of course, the part of the world you live in and what you want to achieve matters in life. And that might mean selling at a certain time if you want to use the profits from XRP to do something with life. Remember, this is an investment, guys. It's an investment that allows you, hopefully, to do something with your life that you can't currently afford to do. Of course, otherwise, what's the point in investing in the first place? So, don't count the days, make the days count. And finally, my opinion of Ripple and XRP is incredibly positive at the moment, guys. But let me know in the comments what you think about Ripple and XRP, where you think it's going. Of course, there are other applications. I talk a lot about Ripple, but XRP is now being used by many other companies as well, and many other use cases. So let me know what you think about that as well. Thank you very much for your time this evening, guys, and I'll speak to you soon. Cheers.